Hey guys, this is Live It, Love It for you. I'm Adam, and this video is basically a reaction to a comment left by Walter. Thanks for the question. His question is, why do you think we as people engage in sports so much? Like, why are we emotionally invested? And he also asks, do you believe if people have belong to a team, or is it just some random coincidence that we root for them when we root for them for in the teams or individual sports like tennis and golf? And I wanted to do this video a while ago. It was actually one of the first comments I received, but in light of today's circumstances and events, I really thought that it was probably the best moment to do it. For those of you who don't know, today is Friday the 13th, I believe. Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. For me, it's 5:32 p.m. in Europe, in Luxembourg, and it should be all over the news now. 14 Real Madrid fans were massacred by ISIS today. And this is really what brought me to actually make the video. I was going to be on a lighter point, but ultimately, it was 14 Real Madrid fans in Iraq were massacred, and this is something that just shouldn't happen. First, no one should be getting killed for reasons, just because beliefs are different. But with just because of your fan base. So it's not something that should happen. I really, my feelings and my prayers are with the families of these people who were massacred just because of their fans. They were targeted because of that. Again, I don't know 100% of the details, but that's pretty much my spectrum. And now, just to get into Walter's question and comment, why did these 14 people and all the other injured, as well as us, people from all over the world, whether it be football, soccer, rugby, hockey, golf, tennis, any sport, why do we engage in it so much? It's because I believe it's a happiness. We get happy, and even if when our team loses, we're sad, but it gives us emotion. It gives us something to look forward to. Because all week, you're looking, my team is going to play. My team is going to play. I want them to win. Your emotions just get greater. And there's nothing better than being happy. And even when you're sad, you can be sad with a group. And it's like, we all watch sports, and, we all yell at the TV. There's so many times I've yelled at the TV. And obviously the ref or the coach or the players can't hear me. They can't hear anybody that's going on. So why do we do it? It's something that you just have. The easiest way to say it is, if you understand what I'm saying, I don't need to explain it to you. And if you don't understand, no amount of explanation will happen. Why am I a fan of Peñarol? Why every week when they play do I invest the time and the energy? Because if they lose, you can say I've wasted my time, but I don't feel it that way. It's happiness. And you can do this with any sports, because psychologically speaking, if I tell you I'm happy because 11 random people put a ball in the net, in the goal, or for basketball, 5 people put a ball in the hoop. In football, they ran it 100 yards and freaking, made a touchdown. Rugby, they ran 100 meters and put the ball down. You think about it, it's stupid, but why does it have to be? It's just something that gives us emotion, it gives us pleasure, it gives us happiness. We want something that we personally can't do, No matter how much training I have, there's no way I'm making a national team. There's no way I'm making a club team. Some people do make it, and great for them, but it's just, it's a sense of pride, a sense of emotion that we have, and we're invested because it's just what we do. In baseball, Mets fan. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I follow the Mets. And, it's when the playoffs come around, I follow them more. I grew up in Queens. That's why I'm a Mets fan. Peñarol, my father was from Peñarol, and I was born into it. There's a picture of me as a baby wearing the jersey. Forget the blue blanket they give you at the hospital. I have a jersey, and it's something you're just born with, and it's something that I will always have, and it gives you happiness. We're invested because it's just something that gives us happiness. And it gives us something to be a part of that's bigger than ourselves. Because, the truth is, while, being a fan and being part of a group is bigger than ourselves, we make it. Because if everyone would say, I don't need to be there, the team won't play. The teams react to the fans. How many times, has a team lost, but the fans are still there? And next week they come and they just go double and they win and they end up winning the season. It's amazing feeling. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a team down 2-0 and they make it back. Down 3-0 and they make it back. How many times in hockey, the Islanders, I'm an Islanders fan, they just, they lost in the second round, but they turned it around the first round of the playoffs. And, it's something that you just want to be a part of. There's no real explanation. But, I personally believe that, we all belong to a team. There's different sports. So different sports have different teams. And, sometimes it's where you're born and where you're from. I'm from New York. I grew up in Queens. I'm a Mets fan. I can see Citi Field from my building. I love it. The Islanders, I've been to freaking the Coliseum before they moved to Brooklyn. I'm a Jets fan. I went to a summer training once with my parents. It was amazing. These are just things that maybe you don't understand why you do it, but you just do it. Because I could have easily been a Giants fan or a Rangers fan, but I'm not. I support them because I'm a New Yorker. New York, we have this thing that we support all the teams, but you're a fan of one, but you're a New York fan ultimately. But the rival team from Peñarol is Nacional, and I will never support them. They're our rivals. And the thing is, especially with what happened today, you can be rivals with teams, and there's natural rivalries that happen in the sport, in every sport. Boston Red Sox, Yankees, Bruins, Rangers, Jets, Patriots, Peñarol Nacional, River Boca. You have Real Madrid and Barca. You have, City United, Manchester City, Manchester United. You have all these different rivalries. But violence is not the answer, guys. I don't think it's a random coincidence of why we personally, are a fan of a team. It helps shape us. The sports that we watch, the teams that we root for shape us. I was in Barcelona last weekend for a tournament. It was for a card game I play. And I met a guy from Peñarol. He was wearing the jersey, and I couldn't believe it. And the whole week, it's an emotional bond. It's something that when you see that person in another country, with your team, and I'm not talking about huge teams because, I don't want to take it away from it, but people from Barcelona and Real Madrid, you have people who are fans who aren't, from that area. You have a lot of people whose countries don't have good teams, and the emotion isn't there. And I don't want to take away from the real fans, but if my roommate's a Real Madrid fan, and if he goes to, let's say, Australia one day and he's someone with Real Madrid, it's a less of a connection. And not to take away from it, but it's because with TV and everything becomes more publicized and globalized and commercialized that some things are like that. But with teams like South American teams, if I see a guy tomorrow wearing an Islanders jersey or a Jets jersey here in Europe, I'll be like, it's another thing. It's a bond that we have. We're not at home to watch our team. And, we have to deal with the time differences and all these things. But it's just, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a sport and being so emotionally invested that how so many of us are. And, I just couldn't imagine my life without being such a huge fan of Peñarol, of the Jets, of the Islanders, of all these teams that I'm a fan of. from different sports. And I know so many people who are like that. And as well, I know people who are not fans. They just don't like sports, or people who are fans during playoffs or World Cups, and that's fine because that's how they're emotionally invested. But, everyone roots for a team, no matter what. No matter what you say, you will always root for your country in the World Cup, even if you hate the sport. It's just something you do. And it's just a sense of pride that we have because, we're all human. We all come from different places, cultures, ethnicities, whatever you want. But in the end of the game itself is what brings people together. And it's just a shame, like today, you have these people who come together. The Real Madrid fan club of Iraq, they came together to talk, watch. I don't know exactly what they were doing, and they're murdered. Violence should never be condoned, and especially in sports and sports-related things. Violent sports are a different topic, but between the fans and between the people. So, rivalries exist, and I want them to exist, and they should always exist. It gives people another reason to continue rooting for their team and for the sports to grow in themselves. So ultimately, the rivals need to stay, but the violence, we're not enemies, we're just rivals. And yes, people may say that's their synonyms and things like that, but I have friends from opposite teams. It's a rivalry, but they're still my friends. Being an enemy is something completely different. It's a harsher term, and I think ultimately, we root for who we root for. It's based on where you're from, your culture, where your family's from. And, for me, it's Peñarol. I love them. And, I'm glad I met the guy in Barcelona when I went there. And, hopefully everything else turns out right for these guys in Iraq, for, the fans. It's not something that should happen, especially in the sport. I wish their families well. And, thank you, Walter, for this amazing question. I'm sorry it took so long, but sometimes things work out this way. And so let me know what you guys think. Who are you a fan of? What sports are you fans of? What do you think? Violence, rivalry, enemies. Why are you a fan of that team? Why are you so emotionally invested? I want to know, guys. I want to know what you're thinking. So let me know. And we'll see you next time on Live It, Love It for You.